folks, and welcome to the Horror Corner. I am the video word made flesh. Death to Videodrome. Long live the new flesh. Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Horror Corner. I'm your host, Sean Patrick Erschen. This week we are doing another movie review. This is Videodrome. Released in 1983 and directed by David Cronenberg, yes. And starring James Woods, Debbie Harry. Yes, that Debbie Harry, Blondie herself. Only she's a redhead in this film. And Sonja Smits. So this is very much a body horror film. So if you love David Cronenberg's films like Shivers and Rabid and The Brood, this is definitely the film for you, I would say. I don't know what it is about David Cronenberg, but his films just get under my skin, you know, kind of disturb me, kind of freak me out a little, because they're so effective with their weird psychosexual mind F stuff, you know. And this is a great example of that. It also has amazing special effects work by the great Rick Baker. Yeah, he's a master of special effects and makeup effects. You know, he does a great job in this film. So James Woods' character Max Wren is the head of this TV station called Civet TV, and they produce, you know, softcore pornography, all this weird sex and violence stuff, and you know, torture stuff, you know, craziness. This cesspool TV, if you will, or trash TV. And Max is looking kind of for the next hit, you know, a new show that's going to be a big hit for them and make them a lot of money. So he's searching around different stations for the newest thing, the next wildest thing, the next big high, you know. And, you know, he tries out a few different things, and he takes them to his partners, and they're not very impressed, you know, until he stumbles upon this video cassette, the old VHS tapes, and it has a broadcast of what they call Videodrome, and it's just these people in this one room, this red room, and it's just like these women being, you know, chained up and bonded and tortured and, you know, craziness, you know, they're being choked and strangled and, you know, like, what the hell? And he's kind of turned on to it because he is a bit of a freak. And he's very captivated by this show because it's very realistic, you know, it almost seems like it's really happening, you know, and he's like, wow, this could really be something, you know, this could be the next big hit. You know, and he also appears on this television show, like a daytime talk show like Donahue or Sally Jesse Raphael back in the day, you know. And they're trying to kind of expose him as what's wrong with society, basically, you know. So he basically goes on the show to defend himself, you know, saying, you know, we simply provide a harmless outlet for people to, you know, escape with their frustrations and their fantasies, you know. A harmless outlet. And also Debbie Harry's character, Nikki Brand, who is the DJ of this S&M TV show, this radio broadcast. And, you know, basically she's there to defend herself too, as well as this guy who shows up on the video scope by the name of Brian Oblivion. He's kind of some kind of guru on the subject, and he's like, you know, the television screen has become the retina of the mind's eye. So Max decides he does want to meet with Brian Oblivion. He's captivated by him. And also, Max and Nikki end up meeting up together because, you know, they kind of hit it off because they're both freaks. She's into S&M, you know. She's like, when they go back to his apartment, she's like, got any porn? Gets me in the mood. And she stumbles upon the Videodrome tape, and she watches it, and she's like, whoa, she's like captivated by it as well. And he's like, no, turn this stuff off, you know. And she's like, wait, I can handle it, you know. Because she's a freak herself, you know. And they start having some wild sex, you know. He stabs her in the ear, you know. It's crazy stuff, you know. And she says stuff like, you know, why don't you cut me with your knife or something, yeah. They're a little crazy, you know. And that's kind of the point of this whole movie in a way. So Max sets out to find out who produces these Videodrome videos. And one of his partners, Martha, you know, he tells her about it, and she kind of investigates it, and she finds out that these films are actually real. The torture in these films is actually happening, and these people are being murdered, you know, for entertainment purposes. And they're snuff films, basically. That's what you call them back in the day, you know. So she says, she warns him, you know, this is very dangerous stuff, Max, you know, you're going to get in a lot of trouble. He doesn't care. He wants to find out who makes it. And he ends up meeting with Brian Oblivion, or trying to. He ends up meeting up with his daughter, Bianca Oblivion, played by Sonja Smits in the film. And, you know, she tells him all about her father and everything he's into, and he's into all this weird, crazy stuff, you know. And he's made thousands and thousands of videos about the subject, you know. And he's intrigued. So he wants to tell Brian Oblivion about the Videodrome shows, so he can get involved with it, you know. And it turns out he is already involved with it. He's their first victim, basically, you know. So he finds out the people that produce the Videodrome shows are called Spectacular Optical. And they basically work out of the store, which is just a front, you know, as a Pearl Vision type optical store. They sell glasses, you know, prescription glasses. So he goes to the store, and, you know, it's just a regular, you know, Pearl Vision type store, and he starts messing around with the glasses and stuff, and he meets, you know, the head of Spectacular Optical, and, you know, they go behind the scenes behind the store, and that's where all the cesspool happens. You know, that's where they find out, you know, where the Videodrome show is produced. And he decides that because Max has been having these weird hallucinations is because he's been watching the Videodrome series. And he also finds out that Brian Oblivion was a victim of that as well. He started having hallucinations, and what happened, Bianca explains to him, is that her father developed a brain tumor caused by watching these videos, the Videodrome films, the snuff films. And they also produce hallucinations. And guess who watched them, you know? So Max has been watching these videos, so guess what? He's a victim of this as well, and he develops a brain tumor that causes him to have these wild, crazy hallucinations, to the point where he doesn't know what's real and what's fantasy and what's these crazy S&M visions, you know. And then this guy who's the head of the Spectacular Optical, he has this weird device, this head component, this kind of virtual reality helmet thing that he puts on Max's head. And he says, well, we're going to record your hallucinations, you know, and he puts the thing on, and it's like this weird virtual reality thing, you know, way before there was virtual reality, you know. I think this film might have influenced, like, films like Total Recall and even, like, Avatar. Because when he goes inside and they turn the machine on, he's basically in the the world of Videodrome. He's like an avatar, and he sees his hands in front of him, and he starts having these wild hallucinations with Nikki being involved in them, and being part of the Videodrome series, because she did say early in the film that she was going to audition. She was going to go to Pittsburgh and audition for the Videodrome, saying, I was born to play that part, And he hasn't seen her since, but he sees her in the dreams and the visions and in his hallucinations. And at one point, he sees a TV, and she's on the TV, and she's like, come to me, come to me. And then you see her up close, you see her mouth moving, come to me. It's very, very weird, very bizarre, and he goes up to the TV, and the TV starts coming out, and he starts going inside the TV. It's really weird. It's great effects, though. Excellent practical effects by Rick Baker here. And another thing is he develops this weird, like, opening in his abdomen, and his abdomen opens up, and weird, and he has this gun, so he purchased a gun. God knows why, I don't know, to protect himself from these crazy people involved in the Videodrome or what. And he, like, puts the gun inside his abdomen and kind of hides it there as, like, a pouch for his gun, It's really weird. And then when he goes back to the Spectacular Optical, they tell him about the videotapes, and they actually show him the videotape, and it's like alive, and it's bubbling and weird, and they put the videotape inside of his abdomen. So it's not all just hallucinations. Or is it? We don't know. But we're seeing it play out on the television screen, on the Videodrome. So they put the videotape inside his stomach, and he starts seeing more and more weird, crazy stuff. And then the Spectacular Optical explains to him that they're against these sex freaks and these violent sex S&M maniacs, and they see them as the downfall of the culture, and they're using this device to basically wipe out all the weirdos and sex freaks in the world so they can purify the world, that's their plan, to, like, take all the freaks out by showing them these tapes, and they get the brain tumors, and they either shoot people or shoot themselves. And they kind of try and brainwash Max into, like, go to your station, go back to your station and kill all your partners. And he takes out the gun from his stomach, and we see that the gun is, like, becoming part of him, becoming part of his hand, and we see, like, these weird wires, like, piercing through his skin and attaching to his hand. And as the movie progresses, it becomes more and more grotesque and really nasty and slimy looking. It's weird. And he goes to his station, Civic TV, and he starts shooting all of his partners down and killing them, It's crazy. And then they tell him, kill Bianca, Oblivion. So he goes back to see Bianca and tries to take her out, but she shows him the video of Nikki, who has been missing, right? And she shows him a video of her being killed on the Videodrome. So that's what happens, she gets killed and tortured to death by the Videodrome people, and she gets strangled and choked to death. And he's, like, horrified by that, and he's kind of stunned, and he kind of goes out of his brainwash, tremor. And she kind of tells him, you need to go back to them and get them and take them out. And then we go into the crazy, action-packed finale, the grand finale, and it's wild, man. This is a wild movie. It's crazy, Like I said, very much in vein with Shivers or Rabid or The Brood and stuff like that. Maybe even better, probably better produced than those films. It's definitely excellent practical effects in the film, of course, by Rick Baker, so that's a huge plus. So yeah, like I said, gets inside your skin. That's what David Cronenberg does. That's what he's great at, and this film is no exception. So I do highly recommend Videodrome. If you are a fan of body horror, this is an excellent example of a great body horror film. I give it 2 devil horns way up, and thank you for joining me, Sean Patrick Erschen, in the Horror Corner. Tune in and stay scared. Good evening, folks, and we got some brand new merchandise for you over at www.thehorrorcona.com, and that's CONA.com. Representing the Horror Corner. Great new design. We got the Morbid Hour live stream there, you got the Horror Hangout live stream there, and you got my nemesis, the Dark Fate. So grab your t-shirt over at www.thehorrorcona.com. And we also got this beautiful new mug. Look at that. Very, very cool. Thought that came out really nice. So grab your merchandise today over at www.thehorrorcona.com.